MongoDB actually stores data as Bson, or binary JSON. You can find the spec for Bson at bsonspec.org. We'll take a look at the spec in a moment. MongoDB drivers send and receive data as Bson. And when data is written to MongoDB, it's stored as Bson. On the application side, MongoDB drivers map Bson to whatever native data types are most appropriate for a given programming language. Bson was designed to be lightweight, meaning that the space required to represent data is kept to a minimum. Bson is also traversable to support the variety of operations necessary for writing, reading, and indexing MongoDB documents. Finally, Bson is efficient, meaning encoding data to Bson and decoding data from Bson, as the drivers need to do, can be performed very quickly. So let's take another look at the JSON example we looked at previously. And here I want to point out that the JSON value types are somewhat limited. For example, there's a single number type, meaning within JSON you can't distinguish between integers and floating point types. In addition, JSON doesn't support dates, so you have to encode a date either as a string or as some sort of nested object. For this reason, Bson extends the JSON value types to include integers, doubles, dates, and binary data to support, say, images, and a number of other types of data. If you're interested in learning more about Bson, I encourage you to look at bsonspec.org, and in particular, take a look at the spec and how data is actually encoded as Bson. As a quick example, let's take a look at how this JSON document would be encoded as Bson. You can see the key and value as part of the encoding. The rest of what's here takes care of specifying the length of the entire document, the type of the value that's supplied for this field, the length of the field value, and then there are things like null terminators for strings, all as part of the encoding. If you're interested in the details of all of this, I encourage you to take a look at bsonspec.org. Though we've spent just a few minutes talking about Bson, as we consider MongoDB data in this course, we will almost exclusively look at data formatted using JSON syntax. However, we will use the term document to describe such records, primarily because a lot of the data we look at isn't, strictly speaking, JSON, due to the additional value types MongoDB supports and some syntactic shortcuts that the Mongo shell and other tools use in presenting data. For example, you may see something like this a little later on, where we represent a date value type in something that looks a lot like JSON syntax.